First time back after a while. The way we like to do GrillCave Banter usually is I'll have a few guests lined up and we'll do them over the course of a month and just sort of do one after the other. And the whole point of it is to get to know people in the barbecue community, bring people in. A lot of people will tend to already know each other in this sort of realm of barbecue in Australia, but there's a lot of always new stuff happening, new up-and-comers bringing out new content that have the same passion that all of you guys have for barbecue. So the whole goal here is to introduce them, bring them in, and share the love because we all share this amazing passion that is barbecue. So first guest for Season 2 of GrillCave Banter, we've got Lachlan, and you're going to answer the big question for us now, man. Mick Adventures or MC Adventures?
It is Mick Adventures. It is Mick Adventures.
There we go. So we are calling you Lachlan McAdventures.
That's the one. I used to get that question a lot, particularly because when my page first started, it was mostly motorcycles, so people would think that it was MC for Motorcycle Adventures. But
yeah, right.
No, it's not. Mick is a play on my last name. So
cool. Glad we got that sorted. That's good. Yeah, man. So I guess what's prompted me to have you on as the first guest is that some point last year I started seeing your profile pop up a lot, and there were a lot of interactions with other guys in the barbecue community who were sharing a lot of your stuff. We'd see a lot of content, and it was what really pulled me in was that you had that passion that when I first jumped into this Instagram community, you could feel it off everyone. And you had that spark, when you were showing your cooks or what you'd been making, you could see the smile and how happy you were about it. And very quickly we started to see all the different, the brands you were working with, the way you were getting cross-shared. And it seemed like it all come up really, you were everywhere. Everyone was loving your content. And so I really wanted to get to know the man behind the account and understand your journey into barbecue. So tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. It definitely was a bit of a meteoric rise throughout the last year. I mean, we're now pretty much at 2.1k followers from, I think we started the year at around about 300. But yeah, a bit of background. I started the page a long time ago. As I said earlier, it was really just motorcycle content back at the time. Had the Harley, figured I'd ride around, and I'm sure we'll talk about that a bit later. But you get close to turning 30, all of a sudden barbecuing becomes the way of life, right? Just naturally clicks. And I thought I'd throw up a photo or two on the odd occasion of some cooks that I would do, or it wasn't too much barbecuing at that stage. I ended up winning a competition through All In Brewing, which was for a barbecue masterclass run by the Smoke and Hot Bros.
Nice.
Yep. That's really what started the foray into barbecue, and then sort of got my first Weber. A year on from there, I went to my first meat stock, which was last year, and it pretty much just went from there. I was like, yep, this is exactly where I want to run. So it's been a fun and tasty adventure. My waistline hasn't liked it, but I definitely have.
Nah, that's it, man. And that's the thing. Once you're in, you're hooked, and it tends to not just be that what a lot of people on the outside don't get. It's not just the food, it's the process. It's that, like you said, you turn 30 and it becomes like an identity. It's like it's about the whole process and learning and always making errors and like trying to get better at it. There's a real pride that comes from every time you master something new. And then it's not only that, it's the people you find like that are part of this community, and it's like one big family. And I say that every time I talk to someone, but it's because it really is like that, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, particularly when you're sharing the cooks that don't go so well. A good example, you guys all know that I'm really great at pork crackling. It's definitely my forte. But that's usually when you see it all band together every time, right? People will just start dropping, hey, have you tried doing this? Have you tried doing this? Give this a crack. And then when things go well, there's so much support behind it. It just really wants to make you keep on going, hey?
For sure, 100%. You're not alone on the pork crackle. I burn that shit every time. That's a lot of my stuff is I tend to lean more towards the more low and slow a lot of the time. So when it comes to grilling, I can very quickly overdo it, especially when it's like trying to do the finer stuff like that. And like you said, it's the advice. It's the people that jump on and you think they're going to give you shit. And the only ones that do are the people who might stroll across your profile and like to be a troll about it. Everyone else is so willing to teach you. Everyone is willing to learn and listen and take advice. There's no egos. Everyone's here for the same reasons, to have a good time. So it really is the best.
Yeah, no, exactly right. On the money.
So, apart from barbecue, I mean, what else are you into? I mean, I know. So you've got obviously McAdventures, which would encompass more than just the barbecue. We know you've got that bike there. So tell us a little bit about that. Like, how long
Mm.
you've been riding? Yeah, give us a story.
Yeah, I've been riding on and off for the most part the last maybe 12, 13 years. Different kind of motorcycles, always cruisers for the most part. But a couple of years back, I decided I finally just want to get a Harley. It's been a while, so that's just what I went with. At the moment, unfortunately, it's the daily commuter to work, and that's about it. But that is dad life for you, so not too bad. But nah, I definitely love cruisers. I'd always wanted a Harley. My dad rides. My father-in-law rides as well, and cousins, family, etc. They're all into motorcycles, so all cruisers, thankfully. So it kind of was a good transition to just jump straight to it, and I'm sure my son will ride when he's older too.
Oh, cool, man. It's good to have that stuff. It's good to have something that you enjoy, but you can also make it part of your daily commute because we all know how fun traffic and commutes are, right?
Yeah, that's it. Like I definitely, it is a Harley, so it's not as easy in the city to do lane
Mm.
filtering and stuff. But I mean, I don't have to sit in traffic in the arvos or in the mornings either, so
Yep.
it's definitely a pro there.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Mm,
So, man, with all your all the content you're doing at the moment, like I notice you got obviously a lot of obviously in this world there are a lot of different things like brand ambassadorships. There are always a lot of partnerships happening.
mm.
You seem to affiliate yourself with quite a few. Well, not quite a few, but you seem to definitely be quite selective in what you've got, and you're working with different partners. And I've noticed like all that come up. Doesn't seem like it's all been such a long drag. Has that sort of all just come up, recently as you've grown the follower count, or what sort of happened there? Like, they're brands that you'd reached out to in interest, or had they come to you? Were there products you're already using? Like, how do you sort of operate in that area?
Yeah, no, that's a really great question, and it's one I've actually had a few people ask me in recent times too. I've not had any sort of partnerships where I've proactively reached out to any brands from a hey, do you want to work together perspective. So far, everything's been for the most part natural engagement, either being reached out to directly, saying hey, do you want to try this? And if I say yes, of course, I'll give it a whirl before I actually start sharing it for the most part. Or it could be something that I've purchased. The Australian brisket board's a great example of that one, where it's a product I purchased early last year. Genuinely love the product. It's amazing. It's the mantelpiece of my house, and just started doing more and more with Mitch from there, which has definitely helped out a lot from both a reach perspective, but getting the product out there because again, I don't know if you've got an Australian brisket board, but they're beautiful.
I haven't,
And
and
then
it's one of those
obviously,
things that I keep going to get, but it's been one of those things. I put it, and I admit I'm 100% jealous, and this is the year for it. It's happening.
yeah, 10 out of 10 recommend. I mean, yeah, I wake up every morning. It pretty much lives on my kitchen table. I've got a couple of them, but the large is quite large, and yeah, it's just beautiful. I could just stare at it all day. But
That's awesome.
with other brands as well. And I mean, I'm at the stage probably. I felt when I got to around about 1.5K followers, I really had to start getting quite picky and on what I would get offered because brand companies obviously will always reach out and get you to try their product, but you need to be conscious at some point that you can't share it all, right? So
For sure.
I've unfortunately had to, particularly in the last maybe 2 months, start knocking a few products back that I want to try, but genuinely just wouldn't have the capacity to be able to try them as well. So that's definitely a stage I'm at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that's the thing. As they come in, you need to you do really do want to be selective. At the end of the day, it's a hobby, and any partnerships that you can have that help build their business and assist in what you're doing. Obviously, barbecues are an expensive hobby, and it's so anything that's beneficial for both parties is great. But you really do have to be picky because you don't. At the end of the day, you don't want to ruin what it is and have you see. Unfortunately, it happened where a lot of guys they lock themselves into a lot of things because it's exposure or it's free product, and they get stuck on this treadmill of they've got content commitments, and they don't want to do it, and it starts to feed into things getting too much and too difficult and ruining the passion for them. I mean, that's something myself that I'd struggled with later last year, and had to pull back on a lot of things, as a lot of you guys know. So, it's definitely a hard balance. But when you have the right people on your team too, and the networking that you can create, it's definitely beneficial.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll touch on networking soon because I think that's quite a large part of particularly growing the community aspect of this, both inside and outside of Instagram, or should I say social media. But no, I think the big key is even if you are or aren't being picky, it's using the products that you genuinely enjoy using. I mean, nothing that you see me post about is a product that I wouldn't use even if I wasn't posting about it. They're all just absolutely bangers, and it's sort of part of that selection process too. And if you find something that you like using, whether it works or not, that's sort of when you just genuinely want to tell people about it, right?
100%, and that's the thing. You can say yes to lots of things, but you sell your soul to the devil. That's the thing. You you
Mm.
you you, you really want to promote things that you use, you love, and that you want to back the business. And you generally, and most of the time, you can tell if someone is genuine about what they're saying about that product. So yeah, I completely respect all of that and everything you're doing on that, because you can truly see that you are passionate about the things you are sharing and the content you're posting. And that's where you get a lot of support from the community as well, because they can see right through a lot of people are here for the wrong reasons. And you are definitely here for the right reasons. And it's awesome to see this community grow and grow and grow. And even like because you live pretty close to Mitch from Australian Brisket Board, am I right? Because I see you guys do a lot of stuff together.
Yeah, like I mean, realistically, his warehouse is maybe 15, 20 minutes down the road from where I am, so it's not too hard on a weekend just to go for a little trip and say g'day. But
Yeah,
particularly as we get into this community space a lot more and really try and drive the local communities a little bit closer to start working together at a bit more of a personal basis. It's yeah, definitely good having Mitch in our corner up here.
for sure. And that was one thing I really wanted to come back and touch to, because we mentioned about networking, and like you guys up there in North, you had the meetup that you guys are doing, and that's taking things away from social media and putting them in a more personal, deeper setting, and actually getting to know each other and bonding over things that aren't just behind a keyboard. I mean, that's awesome. I absolutely love that. Tell me how that came about and how you guys got together and made that happen, because that's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's a great shout, particularly because it doesn't happen outside of meat stock for the most part, right?
Yep.
So, I was talking to, as most of you know, Pig and Rooster Barbecue and Chris O'Cooks. So we typically share things. We're all clearly Brisbane locals, and we were just going to catch up at Barbecue Mafia one stage for a bit of lunch, and we literally just said, well, how about we just throw that invite out there? Let's see if anyone else wants to come along, and it's a good opportunity for us all to meet each other, have a good old yarn, something that we typically wouldn't do. And from there, it just steamrolled, right? I mean, we ended up having our table was completely full. We had people rock up who we wouldn't have expected. There was people outside as well. Probably would have been maybe 35 people, if not a bit more, had either come for the event or to meet one of the people that were there. But absolutely outstanding turnout, which was really good. And even post that meeting happening now, there's a lot of conversation around what do we want to do next? How can we do something next? Do we just continue catching up casually for burgers and beers on the odd occasion, and things like that, which is good. It sort of brought everybody a bit closer together.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's fantastic, and I love seeing that happen, because it's pulling it away from the socials and it's making things just on a much more personal level. We've seen that here. We've got one group in Victoria, the Cleaver Crew. So you got Manny's Cafe, Ollie's Q, a few other guys in there, Fire and Flame. They all get together on a regular basis and catch up, and that was all through the love of barbecue. And having these little spot fires of sub communities in barbecue throughout Australia is just what it does. Is it creates a chain that networks further across, and it kind of creates that spider web effect and interconnects everybody. So I mean, it's awesome. It's just growing and growing, and like you said, it doesn't happen that often out of meat stock, but I'm starting to see a change in that. You're starting to see these little communities pop up, and I think it's amazing for not just the guys that love barbecue, their passion, and their mental health, but for the industry and the businesses that are involved in it. It's an amazing thing.
Yeah, that's it. And I mean, we can see in the chat here, Beers and Butts Barbecue saying there's a Melbourne meetup coming soon. I believe that's next weekend, same as when Meat Stock's on up here. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that, whoever's listening, as well as, of course, yourself, for next weekend when that one happens. But I think something that's really important, obviously, mental health is a massive part of why a lot of us might barbecue. It's sort of our happy place, the place we come to decompress. But we're post-COVID now, where majority of the world, particularly down your way, were locked down for an absolute crazy amount of time. So bringing people together, sort of highlights the importance of being able to meet people and see each other, right?
100%, 100%. And that, that was the thing last time we were doing GrillCave Banter too. We were only just coming out of all that, and you saw all the friendships that were formed and all the circles of these different barbecue creators and lovers come together. And to then where we are now, where people are on a regular meeting up, they're becoming reoccurring things. Everyone's got names for them. Melbourne Meetup, you guys have got yours. Meat Stock's bigger and better than ever. So there's no slowing it down. And I think more than anything, from a mental health perspective, from where a lot of people found this community in that time, they've made lifelong friends. They found something that they can be a part of forever. And I can't talk about that enough, because we're in a time where that is a big issue for a lot of people, and to feel a part of something that's bigger than yourself, like the barbecue community, you can't beat it. You can't.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right.
So on that as well, obviously in big events and community meetups, Meat Stock, it's the talk of the town. It's that time of month. They just had Hamilton. It looked like it went absolutely off over in New Zealand. It looked amazing. Toowoomba's coming up. So I've never been to a Toowoomba one. I've been to the Melbourne ones each year. This year we've got Bendigo. It's going to be a lot bigger. We seem to be getting what is more like the Toowoomba experience, with the camping grounds and the ability to stay from the Friday to the Monday. From your experience, man, tell us, what are the Toowoomba ones like? Because everything I've seen and heard, it goes off.
Yeah, last year, as I said, was my first Meat Stock experience. And you're correct, it went off. It was an absolutely ripper of an event. I mean, the absolute highlight of the event in terms of what was cooking, I think you had Fat Boys had the entire cow sitting there over the crucifix, which was amazing to see. Then you continue to walk down a little bit, and there you see Flaming Gorillas with the piggy Ferris wheel, which I'm sure many of you have seen reels on. But man, that was amazing. I've seen what's in the works for this year. I know Fat Boys posted a little contraption that they're going to have pulling out this year, which just looked absolutely outstanding. I can't wait to see that next weekend. And I think there's the Piggy Ferris Wheel 2.0 as well. Along with, of course, like it's a massive field with all the camping, etc. You've got the big country music right in the middle of sort of the showgrounds, and everything sort of situated around it. You got your world's strongest competitions happening over in the shed. You've got all the butchers' wars, etc. Happening inside sort of the big marquee area. It's what an experience, eh?
It is the best. And this time of year, it's that hype leading up to it too. You watch everyone get excited. Like the other day I was watching, he's actually watching this stream now, Rayon and Mark's Barbecue and Brew Show. They caught up with Jay Beaumont again. And for anyone who doesn't know, he's the legend behind Meat Stock, well, one of them anyway. ABA, big name in Australian barbecue, doing his bit to make a difference. And just the way he talks about it and the passion, you can't help but get excited and pumped. It really is like that. Meat Stock's done. Now we can get to the next one, because it's like Christmas for adults. 100%. That's what it is. And yeah, I mean, I got to ask, because I ask everybody this: when you first rock up, you walk through those gates, you're in the line. When you walk onto that field, what is the first? Describe it in one word. What's the feeling you get? What do you say?
So the way the Meat Stock was set up in Toowoomba last year, I don't know what it's like down in the other ones, or if it's the same this year. But the first thing you walk into is actually the merch tent, so you can get all your merch first. So that's the first thing that you think of is, what shirt, what hoodie do I want to get? Do I want to get a random tattoo while I'm walking through or not? But then, you get out the other side of that shed, and it's just pure awe. You see the smoke in the air. You can just smell the meats cooking, people absolutely everywhere. It's just, you get this overwhelming feeling of excitement. Like, I'm in heaven this week. I'm in heaven this weekend, right? So
exactly.
Beautiful.
It's that calm before the storm too. Like if you ever go to a Meat Stock before the gates open, or the night before in the camping or anything like that, it's that the smokers are rolling in. There's a setup, and then that morning, like very early that morning, there's a calm. You smell the iron bark in the air. It's like, oh, it's Christmas. Like it is the best. You're gonna have a good weekend. If you're a barbecue fan, a music fan, or just a fan of getting out and being with like-minded people, if you haven't done a Meat Stock, anyone, you are missing out. Find a way to get to one, because it truly is incredible.
Yeah, no, second that entirely. Definitely go to one. And if not, I mean, that's definitely something that we'd like to try and see more of, right? More bespoke little barbecue events popping up absolutely everywhere. So
For
some
sure.
very
And
exciting
there,
opportunities.
yeah, definitely. And there's like a plethora of events that go on, like whether it's ABA events or even the CSA events. But it's funny how it almost accidentally culminated at Meatstock. That's what I find. It's like that's like everyone's trying to get there now just because of what it's become, how much it's grown. I mean, we had Brazil have its first one last year as well, and like that went off. It's just getting bigger and bigger. So to see lots of other smaller things pop up as well, just like this, it starts to give you, on a much smaller scale, you get that real US sort of feel to how the barbecue game's getting in Australia. And that's very cool. Even though it's a lot smaller, it definitely feels like it's heading somewhat in that way to some extent. So very exciting stuff. And obviously, Steve, Jay, everyone else involved, they do an incredible job and work hard every year at it, getting these things to grow and be bigger and better. So I cannot wait to get there this year, man.
Yeah, nah, me neither. And I mean, for those, those listeners who are maybe getting into barbecue for the first time, you don't get to meet stock this year. Definitely, there's plenty of local barbecue joints around. They're always doing different classes. They've got different things that they're doing. You can go to even local breweries. Typically have pop-ups. There's a lot of barbecue ones that pop up there. There's also barbecue stores around. Weather stores are quite common for it, but they typically do big events where they might be bringing in and doing a bit of a how-to session, an introduction session. So if you are getting into barbecue, you miss Meat Stock this year, definitely be on the lookout for those kinds of little events as well. I know, for example, there's one coming up. I think it's May at JK Barbecue and Outdoor up here with Barbecue Mafia as well. So definitely fun events to get to if you miss Meat Stock.
Yeah, for sure. They're everywhere. They're all over the country. I mean, right over from Perth to Melbourne, up to you guys in Queensland. It's everywhere. There's plenty of butchers who specialise in low and slow where you can get your meat, especially the small businesses, which we all love to support. There's classes happening all the time in Melbourne. We've got Butcher Zach's running pretty regularly out here. You've got Boomer's Barbecue, who's always running his classes. If you're getting into it, there is more than enough avenues for you to dive in and have a good time, whether you make it to Meat Stock or not. So, no, it's good stuff. Now, one thing we've got to talk about that we have to touch on as well, and I think you know what it is. You can have a guess?
Nah, go for it. I'm not going to guess.
Crocs. We got to talk about the Crocs, man.
Yeah, the best barbecue Crocs in the business. That's it.
So here's the thing. Everybody always says, right, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And then we lose another fallen soldier to the Crocs.
That's it.
So recently, so my wife's telling me to get into them, and she's trying to talk it in a way where it's like, start just do them for barbecue. You'll have comfortable feet. The top's covered, so if you spill any ash, it's not like wearing thongs. They're cushioned. And she's trying to find a way that speaks my language. And I'm like, I know if I can do it. I've seen yours. You got you had, I think you might have shared the picture. Was it the Croc Christmas tree? Was that your post?
Oh, it could have been. I share a lot of Croc-related content, and a lot of it gets shared with me. So
I'm going to give you the opportunity to, in one sentence, why should I be convinced? Just for barbecue wear at this point, why should I do it?
Yeah, definitely. They're comfortable. That's it. They're comfortable, man. You can stand in Crocs all day, every day, and your feet won't get tired in any way, shape, or form. It's next level. I know Manny's listening right now. He got a pair for Christmas this year, and that's the exact same feedback. Like, why didn't I do this earlier? Have you ever gone and put them on? Just go try some on at the shops.
Yeah, I did. I went to an Anaconda store and I tried them on. I walked for about 2 minutes. I was like, oh, okay, the ripples are a bit weird. But yes, admittedly, I could probably wear them all day and be okay with it. My concern is, does it become, I'm not that old yet, is it a gateway to, rocking mum jeans and New Balances? Do you just give up completely after that?
Yeah, realistically, you do. I mean, we go back and think about growing up as a kid, at least for myself, I don't know if it was like this for you, but you'd think of the dad shoe was a classic sneaker, white socks pulled up a little bit,
for sure,
that kind of stuff. But for me, I think a classic dad shoe now is a Croc. That's it. That's
all right. Well,
they're pure comfort.
You're selling me, and I see Manny's chimed in there as well. So comfy, he says. So all right, we'll look into that.
That's it. Even dozers on the gibbets. So the gibbets are like the little charms that go in Crocs. So I've obviously got barbecue related accessories for mine. I've even looked into getting a McAdventures logo gibbet created as well. I'm not going to. It's not quite cost effective for a bit of a fun thing, but they're customizable, which is awesome.
We'll have a look. I'll definitely look into it. We got Brad Palmer, Black Bear Barbecue, and he's I know not too long ago he caved, and it started off with slight disappointment in himself, and then instant regret as to why he didn't do it sooner. So we'll see. Maybe one time we'll see me go live with some Crocs. Sometime
That's it.
soon,
And I mean,
maybe.
if your wife is pushing it for you, I mean, I'm sure you know better to go against those wishes. So if your wife
I
is pushing
do.
you, you may as
Yeah,
well. Yep.
yeah, 100%. That's kind of it's going to happen eventually. It's just how long can I postpone it? But we'll see. See, we got Phil as well, Brothers Barbecue, chiming in saying once you go Croc, you won't go back. So, all right, you may have twisted me arm, fellas. We'll see.
Love it. I hope so.
Awesome. All right, well, man, thanks for coming on. Like I said, I was really excited to talk about you and get to know the man behind the account. And it's been awesome to have insight into into the content or your other side hobbies, getting pumped about meat stock, Crocs. The whole chat's been awesome. So I suppose I want to finish it off with one big question: is you're told you can only barbecue one more thing in your entire life, and that's whether it's grilling, low and slow, whatever you want. You can use whatever apparatus you want, whatever charcoal you want. What are you making?
Yeah, beautiful. One last thing. What is my last bite of barbecue that I'll have? So I'll go with pork belly burnt ends, strawberry dream pork belly burnt ends. They're it. It's the cherry on top for me. So that's the strawberry hot sauce from Australian Buffalo Sauce. Usually I'll use something like Black Market Spice Memphis rub on it. Then once it's sort of smoked with some cherry wood for a little while, I'll then put some butter and some of that strawberry hot sauce on there and a bit of extra brown sugar. That's it. I would be happy to live off those. I'd probably only be able to eat 5 until my arteries clog, but that's it. That's my final bite.
That is awesome. Yeah, can't beat a pork belly burn in. That's a good answer. And are you cooking
That's it.
anything this weekend or?
Yeah, I am actually. So I'm doing something in the works with I won't spill the beans too much, but a local cafe that we're going to try and do a little collab with in the near future, just as a one-off and see how it goes. But I'm cooking a few things as a taste of that this weekend for them. So I'm going to do some lamb necks, some pulled lamb necks. I'll do some pulled pork. I'll do some chicken wings just as a first taster, and we'll do beef on a later date. But yeah, ripping out the whole shebang this weekend.
Awesome. Sounds good, man. Well, you enjoy your cooking, enjoy the weekend. I hope the weather's good up there for you. And huge thank you to everybody who jumped in and watched. Appreciate you guys. And we'll have another episode of GrillCave Banter soon. So thank you, Lachlan McAdventures. Thanks to everyone for watching. Have a good Friday night, everybody.
Thanks for having me on.
Cheers, mate. See ya.
There he is.